Hi, and thanks for tuning in. This is Garden Ecology in the Hamptons with Thomas Muse.
And we're talking about rain gardens today and how to create this beautiful, unique habitat on your property.
A rain garden can be as simple as a small depression that you've created in your lawn or in a garden area, that when it rains, that small depression collects the water from the surrounding areas and it holds the water for a short period of time. What happens is you're creating an environment, it's a microenvironment in your landscape, where certain species that like to have that intermittent flooding will grow and will flourish. A homeowner can go out and say, well, I've got, this lawn area and it kind of grades down to this low spot, and there's lawn here, but what can I do that's different? What can I add into that area rather than just having some wet lawn? Well, they can just take a shovel in a day, they can dig a area out there, take the soil and put it in another area of the garden, go to the nursery, buy some native plant material that'll like that kind of environment, and they can invite all the different wildlife that'll come in and habitate that area. That's as simple as a rain garden gets. Here I've been about 6 months planning in the development on this rain garden. It's got some more features which we'll get into, and as you can see, we've got almost like a stream bed that we've created here. When I first came to the site, we had a driveway over here, and basically we had a rolling lawn that went down towards the wetland here. It was a mowed lawn, and the clients weren't interested in having mowed lawn anymore here, and they're really ecologically conscious and enlightened people, and they wanted to do something different and something dynamic. So we conferenced and we decided that a rain feature is great here. We did a driveway renovation, and we also added some gutters and leaders on the building, which we're going to take a look at. Those are the two sources for the rainwater. If you take a look across the driveway here, you can see it's not your typical driveway, locally quarried gravel. This was supposed to be a combination of what felt like a little bit more of like a Japanese gravel garden and a driveway. We needed to get rid of the water that came onto the driveway and move it through the landscape, not let it collect here. So we put a drain in here. You can see there's a simple NDS plastic drain. What happens when it rains is the driveway's engineered and pitched towards this location. The water goes through a pipe here underground. It's going into a natively planted swale, and it's getting the benefit of biofiltration when it's in that swale. The plants are working on any contaminants that might be in that water, and that water is slowly percolating into the ground. So that's really big ecological benefit of doing a rain garden. A bit of a modern house designed by Norman Jaffe. He designed some beautiful buildings out here that really work well with the landscape. Known for these big shed roofs. What we did was several thousand square feet of roof that catches a lot of water. Well, what we decided to do, rather having it dump against the shingle here, and you could see that we were having there was some problems with some decay and some mold growing on the wood here. We're going to eliminate those problems now that we're capturing this water. We also get the benefit of the biofiltration. Copper tubing. This looks really bright right now, but it's going to go into a natural green patina on it. Just a natural green, so it's going to fade into the building. All this roof water is now, rather than sitting here against the building and rotting out the structure here, it's directed down into a plastic pipe here, and that plastic pipe is pitched down and seamlessly makes its way down to our drainage swale and rain garden. Just under the surface of the soil here, where we have these ferns that we just planted, is the pipe that comes off the roof drain, and the pipe exits right here. This is the quell, or the water source for our rain garden, the principal one, because when we do have a rain event, most of the water is going to come off that roof. What we've done here, why this rain garden is a little bit more technical, we have actually put a small liner underneath here so that we've prevented the water from eroding the soil. And we've introduced some gravel and some more rock. If you're just doing a simple swale in the garden, you won't need to go through the trouble of doing this, but this is almost built like a waterfall. That narrow drain that's over in the driveway, that's coming out at this location. It's lower than the roof drain, but it's still above the elevation of the soil. It's just a 4-inch NDS pipe. It's available in any hardware store. Like all pipes that are carrying water, has to have a 1-inch drop over 10 feet, and this pipe at least has that. It's probably dropping about 2 feet in this 30 feet here. So that's the driveway water coming into our rain garden. For all you hard-working guys out there that know after this segment you're going to see rain garden on your honey-do list, don't panic. We've got a solution for you. Soil's very heavy, and any guy who goes and digs a garden, does some planting on the weekend knows it. What we've done here is no soil's come off the site, so you can rest easy. All we've got to do is move the soil from your swale and just build an interesting little mound next to your swale where you can put some rocks. I mean, not this big, not rocks this size, because that's going to destroy your honey-do list. We brought these in with a machine. But as you can see, the original elevation here, if you look at the base of that tree over there, the original elevation was a couple of feet lower than this. What we've done is we've kept the soil right here on the shoulder. You'd never really know it because we made a very gentle mound, and that's what you've got to look for. You don't want something that's going to look artificial. But simply taking the soil from there and putting it up here created a swale or wet area. Now when it rains, not just from the water up on the roof in the driveway, but in just the surrounding area, and when the irrigation system comes on, because we do have an irrigation system, we have the benefit of hydrating this area on a weekly basis because of the irrigation system. This is always going to stay bog, and these indicated plants, these native plants that I'm going to talk about in a minute, these are the ones that love this kind of environment, and we've created a beautiful rain garden effect simply by moving that soil and putting it up here. Just to point out some of the plants we've decided to use in this rain garden here in Bridgehampton. We've got, this here is a native iris called blue flag iris. It's got a brilliant blue flower, a nice head on it. We've got a very delicate plant here called wild columbine, hardy. Once we've established it, it'll grow here. It's a native. This is available in your local garden centers, and that's a native. And we have two different kinds of equisetum here. Equisetum's horsetail grass. This is a really ancient species. It's millions of years old. It's native to Long Island. This area here is always going to be wet, and this is a true bog plant. So if you've got a rain garden and you've got a couple different areas where the deepest part of the swale is where you'd want to use a bog plant, because that's where it's going to be wet most of the time. And throughout the year, these horsetail grasses really want to be in a bog environment. This is horsetail. You can see the segments in it, and this is a dwarf version of the same plant. So we got some different texture growing up. And this wide blade contrast to this delicate foliage of the wild columbine is what we're looking for.